Our next film is called The Pickup Artist. It's about a compulsive guy looking for and getting repeated one-night stands. That's until he meets his match in a girl named Randy, played by Molly Ringwald. She's as tough a cookie as he is, and she lets him know that when he tries to pick her up.
What's your name?
Randy.
That's a great name. That's really original sounding for such a female-looking girl. May I ask you one last question? What if this stranger gave you the rose were to say something to you really outrageous, like, Randy, I think you're the most lovely, luminous, radiant, exotic, erotic woman I've ever met, and I must make love to you immediately. Then what would you do?
Depends on where he said it.
You wouldn't want to find out if you liked him?
I know when I like someone 2 seconds after I lay my eyes on it.
Don't say that unless you're serious.
Test me.
She's tough, even after they've made love.
You feel great?
I feel fine.
Not great?
Would it upset you terribly if I chose my own words?
Now, Randy turns out to have a problem. Her father's a compulsive gambler. She's a gambler, too, but he's deeply in debt to the mobsters for about $25,000. She also runs a risk in a train station, but the pickup artist is clever enough to save her.
You can knock me down, step on my face, slander my name all over the place, doing a thing that you want to do, but stay off of my shoes.
And I don't you, I step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything but stay off of my blue suede shoes.
That's Robert Downey getting his way out of a tough scene. I enjoyed the gambling action in this movie when she finally gets to Atlantic City. For some reason, the film company isn't releasing the scenes of the gambling. I don't know why. That's when the film is the most interesting. It isn't interesting, though, as much as the big town. It almost seemed like both Robert Downey and Molly Ringwald were playing characters who should be older. These seem to be like kids playing adult roles. Matt Dillon could pull it off in the big town, playing an old role, but not, not these people. These people are amateurs. The film is called The Pickup Artist, but Ringwald is far more the compelling character. It's not so much a bad movie, just an empty one, and a not very credible one.
I think it's a very bad movie. I thought that the gambling sequences were completely uninteresting. I mean, this movie was directed by James Toback, who wrote a movie called The Gambler,
A wonderful
which
film.
is, you know, infinitely more perceptive
Yes.
than this film on the subject of gambling. The supporting characters in this movie are all borrowed from other movies. You have Harvey Keitel as the Atlantic City gambling boss. That's the same character he played in Wise Guys. You've got Dennis Hopper as the alcoholic father. It's the same character he played in Hoosiers. I mean, everything in this movie seems borrowed from somewhere else, and right down the middle, on the one hand, you have the teenager movie. On the other hand, you have this ridiculous gambling story. I thought it was shockingly bad, especially coming from James Toback.
Well, maybe I'll revise it and say it's a pretty bad movie, but not as bad as some of I've seen.
Okay, I'm always glad to kind of bring you around a little bit. When we come back,